Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin. I'm the author of Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. Welcome! If you're new to my channel, please do subscribe below, click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and give the video a thumbs up. Happy May 4th, you guys. May the 4th be with you. Hashtag Star Wars. May the 4th be with you to all Star Wars fans. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And if you have not yet checked out the video that I did on our Kylo Ren and Rey twin flames, I will put the link below actually for that video. It's loads of fun. It's a little bit on the longer side, but that video took me about 40 hours to put together. I am not kidding you. 40 hours to put together. Loads of research on getting the quotes and the lines and screenshots from scenes from all 3 movies in the new trilogy. It's loads of fun. So you can go ahead and check that out. I do readings. I do 30, 60, and 90-minute twin flame readings, romance readings, general readings, personal readings just in general about finding out your life path and purpose. You can go to my website, fondinwellness.com. I have been raising money for charities. These last 2 weeks were the actual last weeks because guess what, guys? I actually do need to save up and pay my bills. As everyone knows, this is kind of like a weird time, but over the course of 6 weeks, I was able to raise over $350 for charity from you guys booking readings. For this week, so this has been actually 2 weeks in the making, I am donating to lafoodbank.org, and I'm actually donating tomorrow, but I was able to raise $100 from your guys' bookings in the past 2 weeks toward LA Food Bank. Now, again, I've been doing this for 6 weeks, so I combined 2 weeks because that first week we just didn't get enough to donate to LA Food Bank. I wanted to donate a little bit more, but thank you so much, you guys, for all of your love, all of your support, and all of your bookings that are going directly toward these charities that really needed your help. This is the Twin Flame Weekly Tarot Reading, messages for Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, and the couple. And the timestamp is below if you want to jump directly into the reading. And for those of you that want to stay and hear my weekly musings, you can go ahead and stay through on until we get to our reading. So how have you guys been doing? Yes, today is May 4th, and I can't believe it's been this long that most of us have been quarantined. I know many of you come from all over the world, and I know that the cases for this virus have been declining in many areas. And I know in some countries, the countries are reopening. I know China's been reopening. I know that Japan tried to reopen or not completely close, and then their cases started going up. Same thing for Singapore. It looks like for Australia, if you're hailing from Australia or New Zealand, it looks like the cases aren't too terrible. I don't know if you guys are completely quarantined, but I know my friends in India, I know your president actually extended quarantine, which makes it really hard for India. But even though the numbers in India haven't been too terrible, here in the United States, the numbers do continue to rise, even though we are flattening the curve. And I am in one of the toughest states in the United States. Actually, our governor has done a wonderful job, really. In all honesty, I like to see people who are organized because I'm really organized myself. And Governor Newsom of California is very well organized. Now, we do have some of the toughest stay-at-home orders in the country, in the United States, but he just announced today that we're going into phase 2. We're going to be able to reopen a little bit, and I like talking about this with you guys just a little bit because I know at this point in the game that everybody is pretty much feeling antsy. I know that everybody is feeling either lonely or just desperate, or maybe feeling the financial burden from everyone being quarantined. I know many of you have been able to work from home, which is amazing, and it's better than not having a job or not being able to go back to work. I mean, But even so, it's challenging. There are many, many challenges that are included in this. For myself included, even though I feel like I'm very, very privileged to have you guys supporting me, supporting this channel, and supporting me through booking readings and buying books. And really, that is the way I am sustaining myself, because some of the other things that I was doing on the side completely stopped and wasn't able to continue doing those because that involved people. Therefore, I really, really, really super duper appreciate you guys for watching the channel. Now, of course, for any YouTuber out there, I know some of you are actually YouTubers as well. YouTube, I've always said that YouTube is really not the way most YouTubers make their money, with the exception of a few exceptional YouTubers. We're talking about those that have well over 500,000 subscribers and above. But for most of us, it's pretty minimal. Unfortunately, for many YouTubers out there, it's really like we've seen the AdSense revenue cut by about 75% since the lockdown. So really, it's not through YouTube that we're able to generate income. So it's super duper duper appreciated, you guys, for all of you that have been supporting this channel through bookings of readings and also buying books and audiobooks, which was great. I've seen a lot of you that have purchased Audible audiobooks throughout this time. Super duper helpful. And also, like, I love the fact that you guys are reading my books and getting the benefit of it, moving toward healing. And the question that has come up a lot is like, why are the numbers so terrible in the US? And I talk about this in another video, and I'll just leave it at that. But, you know, it's in part, it's because in the United States, because we have 50 states, because states are relatively independent to the federal government and pretty autonomous, there was a lot of differences in the way governors reacted toward quarantining and shutting down the economy, if you will, like shutting down businesses, shutting down shopping malls and gyms and restaurants and all that. There was a lot of disparity and a lot of differences. And so perhaps that's one of the reasons. But I believe that another even bigger reason, which I talk about in other videos, but another bigger reason is just the state of health of US citizens in general and globally. Globally, for the number of population that we have, for the amount of people we have in the United States, globally, I believe the US is one of the unhealthiest countries in the world. And we just do not have a healthy population. And unfortunately, this pandemic, this virus, tends to attack especially those who are not healthy. And I really believe that if you're living abroad and wondering, like, why are those Americans dying in record numbers, or why do they have so many cases in America, or the United States more in particular, and that's really the reason. It's not because of the lack of organization, which may have contributed in small part to that, but I believe in most part, it's just that we have a really, really unhealthy population. And again, I've addressed that in other videos, but it really does look like for the most of the world that things are starting to move forward. Things are starting to reopen. Hopefully soon we'll see this general sense of a feeling of normalcy that's going to come back. And it's very comforting, even if things do look a little bit different. And one of the messages that came through from my angel guidance, because I check in with my angels about every other day or so, and not specifically about the pandemic, not specifically about when are we going to reopen, so to speak. I don't generally ask them that specifically, and in part because angels tend to be a little bit vague about human time, because human timing is so different from heavenly timing, and things work at different speeds when it comes to the heavenly realms versus earthly realms, and they tend to get a little bit confused about timing, and they get off a little bit. This is generally a little bit off. Not so much asking about timing as much as the general feel for, like, hey, really what's happening? A lot of people are dying. A lot of people are getting sick. It looks like we're flattening the curve. You know, things are getting better. And what they really reported to me through this channeling was that, how can I explain this? This pandemic, this virus, is actually not the big problem. It is a symptom of a bigger problem. It's just a symptom. It's a distraction. It's a symptom. It's a little warning sign. And actually what is to come is kind of bubbling or brewing underneath the surface. So the pandemic was just kind of like a little side note as to what is actually happening when it comes to the big changes on Earth. And it's not to be, don't get scared, you guys. Don't get afraid. Don't get scared. It's not that. It's just big shifts have needed to come. Let's just take one example. The one example I'm going to give you guys is climate change. Big shifts have needed to come in the way of climate change. And that's a huge one. And in fact, my 16-year-old son and I, my 16-year-old son is like Yoda, but he's 16. It's very crazy. He's super duper wise for a 16-year-old. And honestly, we had this conversation way before the pandemic. We're talking months before this pandemic, and we have revisited this conversation before. And, he told me, Mom, it's crazy, but I don't think there's really going to be an Earth for me when I grow up. Like, it's just not going to be here. And, it's just, 50 years down the road. Yeah, what we're doing to destroy Earth and at the rapid pace that we're destroying Earth, it's just not going to be here. And I concurred. Like, I agree. And I said, in fact, what I believe is that the young people that are moving into kindergarten now should, for example, be slated or like given incentive to their parents saying, look, if you sign your child up for this program to major in climate change science and in helping countries reverse the effects of climate change, then we will give your child a full ride to college to major in this specific thing. And I really believe that that's kind of what it's going to need to come to, that there will be a lot of incentives for countries to give scholarships to parents who promise that their kids will major in this specific, very, very needed science. And it's almost like that we will raise a new generation of children who will be very much aware and knowledgeable and ready and armed to deal with this really serious issue. I believe that when the angel said this is what's brewing beneath the surface, I really feel that they're speaking more to those really widespread global problems that have been brewing underneath the surface that have not been addressed for various political and economic reasons. But it's almost like Earth and heaven is forcing its hand for us to make these changes. And the pandemic is just one way that it's a symptom. It's a symptom of the bigger problem. It's one way of kind of forcing the hand at causing us to look at these things. It's the reason, that's really the reason, and this was explained in many different ways to me, and I believe for me it was explained through my angel messages, and I told you guys this actually in a few videos ago, when this was probably back in March, when I did receive a message that said the coronavirus is not going to be serious. It's actually not going to be serious. It's going to be serious, but not serious, meaning it's not going to reach the predictions, I guess, of what people are saying. It's not going to reach those astronomical predictions. It's kind of going to create a lot of chaos, and then it's going to go away. And it's because that's not the major issue. The major issue is what's brewing underneath. So we shall see. That's the only thing, right? So with no further ado, we are going to start our weekly reading for Twin Flames. And as always, we start with the beautiful divine feminines, the goddesses in this collective. So dear God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, Mother Mary, archangels, angels of God, twin flames, guardian angels, romance angels, and guardian angels of the divine feminine collective, please let this reading be the highest light and love of God the Father. Let it bring light, love and truth to everyone involved. Archangel Michael, please stand guard, casting away any lower energies with your sword of light. We're going to get the first card for the Divine Feminines. What do Divine Feminines need to learn to grow this week, starting May 4th? May 4th. And we're going to go to, I'm doing the Fairy Tarot deck again. I'm not sure if I did it last week. I may have done it 2 weeks ago. I love this deck. I really spoke to my angels today and I said, what do you guys want me to use? Really, what do you guys want me to use? And they really pointed me toward this deck. So here we are using it again. So we've got Divine Feminines, messages for Divine Feminines for this week, and the Twin Flame Collective Angels. Now we're going to go for the Divine Masculines, our beautiful, wonderful, these amazing Divine Masculines. What are they learning today, this week in May? We've got this big full moon in Scorpio coming up on the 7th. Oh my goodness, that is an intense full moon. Scorpio is all about the underworld. It's about endings. It's about dissolution. So deeply emotional. Scorpio is an emotional sign, you guys. So if you're feeling really, really emotional, that is the Scorpio full moon. And it usually happens a few days before the full moon, so you might be feeling it today. So this is for the Divine Masculines. And now we're going to go to the Twin Flame couple. We're going to get first the Angel Tarot messages, Twin Flame couple. Twin Flame angels help us to know what the Twin Flame couple needs to know. And now the Fairy Tarot messages for the Twin Flame couple for this week, starting May 4th. All right, and the Romance Angels. Romance Angels help Twin Flame couples to get the romance messages for this week, please. All right, we've also got, you guys, we've also got 3 planets going retrograde. We've still got Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter together. Pluto has gone into retrograde, but we are still with those 3 planets together, you guys. It's just this very, very intense energy. So again, take it easy. Take baths, take walks, lavender essential oils, chamomile tea, dial back on the caffeine. Seriously, you guys, meditate more. Just a lot of intensity, especially with that Scorpio full moon and all those planets together and 3 planets going retrograde. Like, it's just so much. It's a lot, you guys. Okay, so this is for the Twin Flame couple. And then we're going to get 2 messages from Divine Masculine to the Divine Feminine here. If the Divine Masculine could say anything in their heart space to the Divine Feminines, what would they say? Our beautiful, beautiful, wonderful Divine Masculines in this collective. These beautiful souls. Okay, so we're going to start with the Divine Feminines. We've got the Hermit card. Oh my goodness. Very much so. Very much so. Now, it's interesting because the Hermit, and I've said this before in readings, the Hermit can sometimes be attributed to going into silence and meditation, reading your little spiritual literature, watching your spiritual videos, going into the corner, being by yourself. We've all felt this Hermit energy, I'm sure, somewhat in the past 8 weeks. But this one really can also mean that you are the spiritual leader. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're the student. This could mean you are also the leader, that you have actually integrated your lessons, and that now is the time for you to shine your light so that the followers of the mentor, the followers of the spiritual leader can find you if you are the leader. So it's really beautiful. It is self-discovery. Archangel Raziel helps you to visit past lives. takes you on a journey to past lives. And this is honestly what the full moon, we've got a full moon here. This is honestly what the full moon in Scorpio can conjure up as well. Conjuring up past things, past lives. We also got the Seven of Spring. I call this a Divine Feminine card, in all honesty, because the Seven of Spring is like the Seven of Fire. It is a feminine power energy. 7 means you're on the right life path. 9 means you're on the right life path. But it's defending that which you believe in. It's standing up for your beliefs. It's not backing down. It's usually defending something from your heart space. Like, I really believe in this. This is coming from my heart. I'm going to defend this. I'm not going to back down. I'm going to stand up for what is right. And I really feel like for you guys, for the Divine Feminines, for some of you, and look, it's really funny. If you look at the Seven of Spring as well, in the background, there is a full moon as well, which is so funny. We've got 2 cards with full moons in the background of the card. And some conflict might come up, you guys, with this notion of you and your twin flame. And it might be internal conflict that you're dealing with, internal conflict of, I don't know if I want to stand up for this connection anymore. I don't know if I want to stand and move forward with this connection anymore. And it's saying, no, that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to stand up for it. Now, this doesn't mean you confront other people with it, but it does mean that you stand tall, to stand true to what you know is in your heart space. And also, what I advise many of my clients and you guys online as well is to not talk to too many people about this divine connection. Many people who don't understand divine connections, soulmate connections, twin flame connections, they can't possibly understand the divinity of the connection. They can't understand the soul's purpose of the connection. And sometimes it's just better to keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. Okay, so for Divine Masculines, we've got a very mixed message, but a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful message nonetheless. We are in week 8 of quarantine. As I mentioned, okay, so it looks like, remember, the Divine Masculines had to do their work of getting rid of people around them that were not serving their highest good. It really looks like they've been doing that. It looks like they've been doing their work. Unfortunately for this week, many of them are worried about money. We've got the 5 of Earth here. This is uncertainty, uncertainty about employment, uncertainty about self-employment, uncertainty about their bank savings, uncertainty about the money coming in. This is a lot of fears surrounding money, which realistically, for the current climate and what is happening right now, it's just part of our reality right now. It's just, this is what's real, you guys. This is what's going on right now. So I don't blame them. Many of them had saved up money for coming back with their Divine Feminines because they were kind of, just getting their whole life in order. They were either bought a home or were thinking of buying a home. They were getting that new job, and now many of them have been furloughed. It's just, they had been putting all their ducks in a row, and then all of a sudden they thought, well, 4 weeks of quarantine, I should be able to do it financially. 5 weeks of quarantine, maybe. But now we're into week 8, and many of them are doubting their ability to even pay their own bills. So really tough, you guys. They're really tough. But look at this. The desire, look at this man down on one knee. Well, he's getting down, or I don't know. It's very strange. He kind of looks like he's getting down on one knee. But this is the 2 of Cups, the 2 of Summer, the 2 of Cups, rekindling that romance, coming back together with your romantic partner, forgiveness, resolution of conflict, telling the person you love them. And so the Divine Masculines are really wanting to do this. They're ready to do this. They want the rekindling. They want the forgiveness. They want to come back to you. And they're dreaming about this. They want this. This is getting in the way a little bit, the worry about the finances, but they're wanting this. They really, 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 with all their heart and soul, they want this, and they don't want to give up on this connection. They absolutely, positively do not want to give up. Now for the twin flame couple, I love this. This card that comes up is so beautiful. We've gotten this before. This is one of the cards in the deck that I consider to be a twin flame card. We have the Strength card, the number 11. This is the twin flames coming back together. This is the yin yang. This is the energies being balanced, being tamed, if you will. We've got this beautiful divine feminine, which is Archangel Ariel here. She is representative of Mother Earth in this case. We've got her tiger, which is representing the divine masculine. And you know how she's tamed the beast, so to speak? Through divine feminine energies. She has tamed the beast through love, compassion, forgiveness, peace, joy, and harmony. She hasn't used weapons or a whip to whip her tiger into shape. She's used all of the divine feminine qualities to make the tiger her friend. And she's done it through, and there are two doves that do represent peace, but she's done it through these very docile, passive, feminine, lunar energies, these lunar qualities. Again, we're back to the moon, right? Lunar qualities. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful. And we've got the renewal card. The renewal card, again, is about, it's an assessment of what has happened in the past. It's a review of what has happened in the past. And it's about making that beautiful assessment of what happened in the past overall was really good. For the twin flame couples, it's like both of you reflecting on what we had together was really good. We're making that assessment now. Super good energy for coming back together. Super good energy for reunion. I love it so much. It is amazing energy, you guys. Now, as we say, we always pick first the romance card. The second card that comes up is either reinforcing the meaning of the first card, or it will slightly change the meaning of the first card. We have got this could be the one. This could be the one. A lot of reflection, you guys, coming from both sides, coming from the masculine side and the feminine side. Wondering, plotting, thinking, is this my person? Is this my one? Some of you are still entertaining those doubts. The doubts could come from the feminine or the doubts could come from the masculine. I see this week that the doubts are more coming from the feminine side because we have that 7 of spring about the feminine energy being willing to defend the connection, but perhaps first before defending it, doubting it just a bit. So we've got this could be the one. I love it. And guess what? This card reinforces the meaning of the first. We've got longing. Someone is secretly yearning to be with you. Just reinforces it, you guys. It just reinforces the meaning of, again, the reunion, the coming together, reinforcing both of those energies. Let's see about the messages from divine masculine to the divine feminine. And I love this because many, many divine feminines have doubted why. Why the separation? Why the ghosting? Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? And the divine masculine saying, I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly what I was doing by separating from you. As I mentioned in my book, Twin Flame Romance, as I talk about in many of my videos, total separation, totally necessary if you are in a twin flame connection. If somebody tells me, I met this person, I believe they're my twin flame, everything has gone super well, perfectly, we are a match, we are meshing, molding, and everything is perfect. We have never fought. We are getting along fabulously, and we've always been in constant communication. For me, that's a pretty good indication that it's not a twin flame connection. Because all twin flames that I have encountered, and again, I've counseled hundreds of you in the past year to 18 months. In my experience with twin flames, that's never the story. The story is always a lot more complicated than that. The story always involves a separation of some sort, a rift, a mirroring, then a flare-up of ego, anger, all of the above, and then a big separation. Lots of obstacles in the way. And here's the thing, is that divine feminines are often sitting there not knowing what happened. And that's usually the telltale sign, is that all the signs were there for a twin flame connection, and then the divine masculine just cut things off, cut and dry, without an explanation for the most part. Some of you know because, for example, the other one was already married or in a long-term relationship, so you knew, well, things are gonna get a little sticky here. But for others of you, it was just almost like the light switch was on, then it was completely turned off, and you had no clue why. And that's pretty much my story, and that's the story of, I would say, a few hundred people that I've actually had the privilege of coaching throughout this time. So if somebody says, you know, it's been so easy, it's been great, it's been wonderful, everything's just peachy keen, I'm like, yeah, that's not a twin flame connection. It's just not, because when the divine masculine says, I knew exactly what I was doing, what they're saying to you is that their soul knew that separation had to take place. Now, whether or not they could articulate the why at that time, it's probably that most of them couldn't articulate the why at that time, because that's why so many of them just cut it off cold turkey, because they couldn't explain it. They couldn't explain the why. They're also saying, I wish I could share my good news with you. And I believe that for many of them that have turned the corner, and for many of them that have been preparing for a while this reunion with you, and I know there are so many instances and so many cases that I've read and heard and seen of twin flames coming back into reunion of late. And some of them, again, it had been this separation for a while, but they want to share the good news of their spiritual transformations, of just things that have been happening in their lives, dreams, like just crazy dreams that have been occurring. And they really want to open up and to be able to share with you. So this is an interesting reading to me, you guys. It's interesting because I see the pieces falling into place, and I truly see the pieces coming together. For divine feminines, stay in your spiritual truth. Stay in that spiritual truth. I know it's hard. I know it's super duper hard to stay in that spiritual truth, but I want you to stay in spirit and not in ego. It can be so easy to switch back, go into ego, and start the blame shame game. The blame shame game. And you get back into your head, you get back into your thoughts, you get back into the past. And believe me, that Scorpio moon will try to take you there. It'll try to take you into that area of blame, shame, animosity, remembering the past, going back into those moments where your twin flame it wasn't being honest with you, or wasn't fully revealing how they felt, or just ghosting you for no specific reason whatsoever. And I think you just need to recalibrate those thoughts when you go into that negative thinking, or just delving into the past, but the negative past. I would say, if this is truly your journey, if this is truly your connection, it's better to just shift over into that positive thoughts. Think of something nice that he or she said to you. Think of something nice that you guys did together. Think of something nice that was said in the beginning even. And I really believe that will help get you through this difficult week of that deep reflection, because that hermit energy, again, can lead you down the path of some of that deeper connection. Ask Archangel Raziel just to help you more remember the good times rather than the not so great times. And really, it's coming together, you guys. It is. It's moving forward. It's coming together. remember that this time period, I should say, about things brewing underneath the surface. And if you missed the first part of my rantings, if you missed the first part because you just skipped to the reading, I said something about the things that are brewing underneath the surface. But part of that, you guys, is the revelation of a portion of the population that is in this phase of awakening to help bring unity to the planet, to help bring that unity to the planet. Because what we are about as a Twin Flame collective, what we are about unity. We are not about separation. We are about unity. Because that is what love does. Love unifies. Love brings together. Love does not divide and separate. So just please keep that into perspective this week when you're having a tougher week with that full moon, when you're having a tougher week because you're falling into doubt. But it looks good. See, there's no reason for you to fall into doubt. There's no reason for you to fall into the past worries and thoughts and reminiscing about the bad things. There's really absolutely no reason for you guys to do that, but you're going to be tempted to go back there, so try not to. And Divine Masculines, don't worry about money. Here's the one thing: if you are in the Twin Flame collective, God is going to handle your money issues. Rest assured, your mission as a Twin Flame is way too important. Way too important for you to be worrying about money. So I'm not saying to not be responsible. Please be responsible, but don't set your worries there, because you are an emissary for God. So it's God kind of is going to take care of your material needs so that you can do your other job, which is to bring unity, love, and peace to the earth. He's not going to let you go hungry or without a home because you have a greater work that you absolutely need to do. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Right now it can look bad, but it'll sort itself out. I promise, I promise, I promise. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. Give the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with other Twin Flames. And thank you so much for your support of this channel. You can buy a book or 2 or 3. You can also pledge your support on Patreon. We do a private party podcast every single month. www.patreon.com/MichelleFondin, and I will see you in the next video.